Hello, I'm Caspian Conran, a political economist at Baringa. Welcome to this four-part series. Well, we'll be looking at the implications of the choices of the four major emitters as we move ahead to Glasgow and COP26. These four players, China, the United States, the EU and India, will have a disproportionate impact over the global energy transition and, crucially, whether we'll hit those Paris-aligned goals. The United States, the world's largest economy. Biden hopes that America could be a climate leader, leading the world on climate change. However, domestic policy at the moment isn't matching up for the rhetoric. We evaluate the United States' energy policies using our credibility and durability framework. Our credibility on the x-axis gives us a view of decarbonisation policy maturity. We can see at the moment the United States scoring a relatively unflattering 3, well behind the European Union. But look at that shadow United States with Biden's agenda fully implemented. We could see that could materially increase the policy maturity of the United States in this decarbonisation space. The reasons behind this uncertainty is because of the y-axis, our durability axis. The United States scores very low when it comes to the political risk of the energy transition. We know that the lack of bipartisan support over energy policy and climate change continues to frustrate the ability of the Biden agenda to be implemented in Congress. When we look at the United States emissions history since 2005, we do see a slow and gentle downward sloping trajectory. But projections from Climate Action Tracker show that flatlining over the subsequent decades under the current policy prospectus. Biden's agenda has come along and hopes for a radical shift, pushing the United States towards a Paris-aligned pathway. Most notably, he hopes to reduce emissions by 50% by 2030 and, crucially, be net zero by 2050. The most aggressive policies come from the power generation sector, where he hopes for zero emissions completely by 2035. But also policies of note in transport, with support for zero emissions vehicles, increasing subsidies, and large support for low carbon infrastructure of road vehicles, such as charging infrastructure. But there's major risks to the Biden agenda and to the credibility of the decarbonisation agenda in the United States in general. Most notably is this problem of bipartisan polarization. When we ask the United States electorate whether they believe that climate change is a major threat to the United States, we couldn't get a more different answer. Republicans generally say no, answering affirmative just 30% of the time. Democrats increasingly answer yes, answering 80% of the time in the affirmative. This bipartisan polarization is causing huge deadlock in Congress, where partisan bickering is frustrating the Biden's agenda to get crucial legislation passed, most notably in the Senate. But it also creates electoral risk. We know that the Trump administration came in and tried to water down and repeal Obama-era environmental standards and protections. There's the present risk that a future administration could win office and do the same. That really undermines the credibility of the United States as a global climate leader across the world. Secondly, this issue of the US-China relationship. We know it's a crucial relationship. A bilateral accord in 2014 between China and the United States was crucial in unlocking the Paris Accord a year later in 2015. The relationship between the two largest economies, the two largest emitters in the world, is crucial to continuing to support global decarbonisation efforts. But we know that this relationship is deteriorating. Lack of trust and escalating trade conflicts is reducing the ability for these parties to cooperate. The Biden Made in America agenda, for example, continues Trump-era tariffs on solar cells and wind turbine blades, undermining the ability of rapid deployment of renewables at scale in home markets. We also know that China's dominance of production of rare earth metals, 70% of global production in recent years, could be used as a weapon to slow renewable deployment abroad. These are crucial components of renewable energy technologies. And so this relationship between the United States and China is crucial, and yet it is deteriorating. Both of these create real uncertainty over the energy transition of the United States pathway. Tell us what you think about the United States energy transition below by commenting. We'd love to hear your thoughts.